Hey folks, Dave back here in Studio B on a Friday night, and just thought I'd jump in and say hi. And a couple things I wanted to talk about here as we move into the weekend. And one of the things that we had a topic for the show, but I don't think it would have filled up the whole show. So it's something I was going to talk about myself, and that is anticipation. So, what is anticipation? Well, it's something you look forward to. It's something that you get excited about. And you're looking forward to, and it's usually something good, right? Well, when we talk about our hobby here in sports simulation, there's all kinds of things. And SG Jamie arrives and says, like ketchup. Yes, it reminded me of that commercial anticipation. And the kids putting the ketchup, waiting for the ketchup to come out of the bottle. That's kind of what I was getting at with this topic here, anticipation. And there's many forms and many different anticipations, if you will, in our hobby here. And some of the big ones are placing an order and then waiting for it to come in the mail. Now that can go for anything. Like when I ordered the shirt, I was anticipating the shirt coming in, couldn't wait to wear it here on the channel, right? Couldn't wait to wear it when I play hockey. So I was anticipating that. So a lot of the anticipation comes from getting stuff in the mail. I just got some APA seasons in the mail the other day, and that was so cool. So a lot of the anticipation comes from waiting for that truck to pull up with your seasons or with your games. So that's a lot of the anticipation, but it's not all of it though. It's not all the anticipation. And I wrote down some things that I anticipate here in this hobby. And Frank stops by and says, "Waiting for games brings me back to being a kid at X." Exactly. It's that anticipation of, you know, like I say, that Christmas morning. And I remember as a kid waking up on Christmas morning at like 4:30, right? And I'm going downstairs and you see the tree with all the presents, and it's like bing, 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 bing. I couldn't sleep. I'm bouncing around. I was like, I go wake up my brother. You wouldn't believe all the stuff downstairs. And it's like we're sitting in bed. It's like, okay, they said we have to wait till 6. I'm like, So from 4:30 to 6 was like the longest hour and a half of our lives. And then it's like, can we start opening presents? And you drag your parents. Oh, okay, we'll open presents. But yes, it is. It's like being a kid at Christmas time, and that's what we do here. And so, like I say, I got some seasons in the mail. And actually, I got a check in from one of the jobs I did over the winter. And I said, "Damn it, I'm going to get another season." So I took some of my money and was good with it. But some of my money, I went and I bought some seasons, and sometimes you have to do that. You really do. And I know not everybody can do all sorts of things here, but when I work crazy hours and I'm like, what am I doing this for? And I know, paying bills or whatever, but I says, I got to do something fun with this. This has got to be worth it. Sitting in a cold hockey rink when it's 0 degrees out, I need to make this fun for me. And so if I say, well, when I get my check in, I'm going to buy a season of app or a season of hockey bones or a season of strat, or, I'm going to try a new game, or I'm going to do something, so I anticipate that. So Jamie says, sometimes I order something just for the feeling of anticipation. Yes. I mean, I'll go, I as I play all different kinds of games. I play PDFs, I play printed games, I play PC games, I play all kinds of things. And I still once in a while, even though I have tons of APA seasons over here and tons of hockey bones and tons of APA baseball and strat and season ticket baseball and all kinds of PDF games, still, if you sit there and just say, well, why don't you just play something that you got, which is true, right? Why don't you play what you got? And I do. You do have to get something new. It's like trying a new restaurant. You know what I mean? You go out, you got your favorite restaurant. Once in a while, try something new, or just you ever been sitting home at night, and whether yourself, a significant other, and you're like, I got to get out of this house. I just got to get out of this house. And so you go out, and maybe you go out to dinner, or maybe you just go out and get a drink, or maybe you just go walk the dog. But you maybe sometimes, like, we'll we'll get to a point like I gotta get out of this house. So we'll just get out to the mall or something and walk around or go into like a shoe store and buy some new sneakers or something like that. I mean, it's just sometimes you just gotta get out of the house. My hobby, before I get into this hobby, every Sunday morning, me and a buddy of mine would get in the car and we'd take a ride, usually to New Hampshire because there was more places in New Hampshire. But sometimes we'd drive into, in and around Boston, and we'd find these old video game stores. In fact, like right here, these are all PlayStation 2 games. Okay, and so we would collect all these PlayStation 2 games and Xbox and stuff that's really old and you couldn't buy anymore in this, in the store except for these old places. And we'd go and I'd come home, I'd spend 10, 15, $20 on a Sunday morning, and I'd come home with a stack of video games. Some I've never played. Some are still sitting behind me. Some I have played. But you go out and you just 15, $20 to just enjoying the day, getting out of the house. You come home with your, what's that Christmas Carol song? Coming home with their treasures. That's what it was. And we weren't out spending thousands of dollars. We weren't even spending hundreds of dollars. We were just spending, a little bit of money going out and trying to, enjoying ourselves. You look at the game, oh, this might be fun to play. It's $1, or maybe it's $3. I'll get my $3 out of this, even if I play it once. So, yeah, so sometimes you do just got to go out and do something and get a new season. So, yeah, I bought a couple of APA seasons. A couple of baseball and a hockey one as well. So I'm anticipating those come in. A couple come in, and I'm still waiting on the other one to come in. As Steeler fan comes by, and so I'll put out some of the comments here. Waiting for games is like Xmas time. We talked about that. Jamie says sometimes they order something just for the feeling of anticipation. Yep, exactly right. Steeler fan coming by. Ronald coming by. Yes, I agree. I have that feeling of having to reward myself for the hard work I do as well. Yeah, and that's kind of what it is. And it's, I mean, and you do it within your means. And there's sometimes that, I work a lot and I have some extra, money from extra jobs and I can buy some things. And there's times that, like during the summer, I won't have any money to spend because everything's going to go to paying bills. So I'll have to play some of the stuff that I buy. So for me, it kind of ebbs and flows, from busy season. Right now, all the checks are coming in from busy season, so I got a little bit of money, but then those checks will run out because I stopped working the extra job. So that's just my particular situation. As Scott comes by as well, evening all, and Patch comes by. Anticipation is a good part of retail therapy. That's one thing. I'm glad you brought that up, Patch, because part of this, what we do, this gaming thing, it's therapy. It really is. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It's gives you something to look forward to. You buy something, you're excited about it, and it just makes you feel good, and you're not, it's not like you're buying fur coats and you're not like you're buying cars or, your crazy trips around the world. If you spend 20, 30, 50, $80 on a season or a game or something like that, it's not like you're breaking the bank. It's not like, I know people that collect cars and I've talked about this on the show. I'm like, you got, how many cars you got? 4, 5, 6 cars. I mean, you got to be spending, 15, 20, $30,000 on each of these cars. I mean, come on, man. But that's what they do, and that's what they want to do with their money. So good for them. But there is some sort of a therapy there in playing these games, and that kind of brings me to my other thing. So anticipating, not only waiting for the games to come in the mail, and then you open them up, and it's Christmas morning every time you get these things in. Like Frank was saying, it's you open these things up, and it just brings you joy. And the other night, I was sitting here, I was right here actually. I was talking to Ron while I was unboxing some of the baseball, the APA baseball I got, and we went through every player on the Red Sox. I think 78. That's the season I'm going to play, and I think I got 88 too. And so I'm going through every player on the Sox, and it was just, oh, I remember this guy. I don't remember this guy. Oh, remember this guy? And it was just a bundle of joy. Like when you open the box, this light just shined out. You know what I mean? Because it was just, you're going back and you're seeing these names, and you're gonna play these guys. I'm anticipating seeing what Jim Rice can do. I'm anticipating what Yaz can do. I'm anticipating, what the pitchers are gonna do. I'm anticipating playing this team to see, can I get them into the playoffs, or or if I just play the playoffs, can I win some playoff games? And so there's just that anticipation of playing the game. So I was here, like I say, opening them up and was showing the cards to run, and that was just that whole thing was just therapeutic. Opening those cards and going through them, even if I never play them, that whatever the season costs for me from APA, that 45 minutes of therapeutic bliss of just me just not worrying about anything. And I had a bad week. I got some family issues going on. Nothing terrible, but nothing good. And so when I open that box up and I'm going through the cards, it kind of just, like I say, the world just closed in. Everything closed in around me, and I just enjoyed this moment. And I got to open my cards and look at the teams. And every now and then I go through another team, and and I don't know if you guys do this at all, but I like to. I don't. I used to go through every single card, but not. But sometimes it's a lot. So I'll pick a couple of teams and thumb through them, and I'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know this guy played for this team." So I need to make a mental note to play this team so I can play this guy in a different uniform. And then you're like, "Oh, I remember this guy. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna play this." And you get all excited about the cards and the teams and the games you're gonna play, and you have this anticipation of excitement and just something to look forward to. It's like you're pouring that ketchup out, waiting for it to hit the hamburger and the French fries because you know it's going to taste oh so good. And that's kind of what it's like when you're going through the cards and the teams and the whole bit. And so that was a big moment for me the other night when I hadn't ordered an Appa season in quite some time, especially baseball because I only had the one season. But I got back into Appa baseball. I'm really enjoying it. I played some of the 1980 World Series, and I was like, I'm really liking Appa baseball again. And so I want to play some, and I rewarded myself for all those 7-day work weeks back in the wintertime. And I picked up some Appa baseball and even Appa hockey season as well. And I'm going through the cards, and it was like, it was just, it was so good. It just made me feel so good inside, and I got all excited about the games I'm going to play with my new cards. I really am. Um, and what else does Patch say over here? The other day, I bought a treasure secondhand book with the money I saved by not getting a coffee and donut that morning. And yep, that's the way it is too. Is you saved on the coffee and you buy yourself a book. Sometimes I've done that too. I've I could buy myself this and I don't. So I save that money and I get something else. And sometimes that's what you need to do. But I mean, you're going to enjoy that book. You really are. And David C stops by. And let's see here. JT 2.0, which is better than JT 1.0. That's what I always say. I like the anticipation of getting the game project started after doing some prep and research. Yes, and that's okay. That's the other thing I was going to bring up, JT, is anticipating the games and replays that you're going to do. And what I do a lot of times is that there's a couple times during the week that I'm at the rink and I'm scorekeeping and I'm not refereeing and I'm not playing. And so I'm kind of in the box by myself. And I usually have my iPad because that's how I score the game live. So I'm working. But sometimes the game's just going on. There's a lot of nothing happening. If there's not a lot of penalties or not a lot of goals, I have some time to myself. And so I'll go to hockey reference or baseball reference and I will start looking around and I'll be making notes while I'm there. It's like, okay, let me go to this season. I have this season here. Let me take a look around. What games do I want to play? What I do a lot of times is I will go to the overall schedule, especially for hockey, and I'll click on like goals for. What was the highest scoring game of that year? Oh, somebody lost 11 to nothing. I will play that game and I'll write down that game. That's the game I'm going to play to see how close I can come to 11 nothing. And I will do that, with a lot of things. I'll go to baseball reference and I'm clicking around on the World Series. What World Series do I want to play? And right now, I don't know why I'm on a big Oakland A's thing. Probably because I've been playing some of the old 70s season. And Ron was talking about 1988. Because I says I want to play Jose Canseco, and he's like, "Well, get 88." There's Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco. That was the Dennis Eckersley pitching to was it Kirk Gibson? That was the World Series for that. So I got 88. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna play that World Series. I'm so gonna play that World Series. And so I was like looking at the rosters, and I'm like, oh, yep, this is I know this guy, I know that guy, and sometimes I go to a World Series or a Stanley Cup, and I don't know many of the players. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stay away from that one. But like JT said, he researches it, and that's half the fun is, now I'm anticipating playing that World Series. I'm anticipating, playing, those A's against the Dodgers to see how my series comes out when I play that. And I get all excited about that. So if I'm at the rink, or sometimes I'm at lunch too. I'm here working at the house and I get a bunch of things done, and I take a break and I'll swing over to baseball reference or hockey reference, and I'll start looking at seasons. I'll start looking at teams, and we stumble on weird things sometimes. Like I say, you click on a team, it's like, I had no idea this guy played on this team. Oh, yeah, he played 1 year on this team. I need to play a game. I'm anticipating playing this guy in a jersey that I'm unfamiliar seeing him with. And it's usually like his last year. Usually a player will sign with a team for one last year. And yeah, he doesn't have much of an impact, but he's still on the team. So it's fun to play him like that. So yeah, anticipation is researching the project and doing prep work for a project. It is very, very fun. Let's see here. Scott, what does Scott have to say? I was like a little kid today when the mailman drove up to the driveway and hand delivered a season set I was waiting on. The yard work ended, by the way. Isn't that the best? It really is. Like, I'll hear the truck pull up. I'll hear, and I'm like, okay, that's either UPS or FedEx. And sometimes I'll hear the little, that's the mail truck. So I'll hear those pull up at certain times, and I'll say to myself, oh, I wonder if that's this, because I am expecting this or I am expecting that. Yeah, what I did get in the mail the other day too was, and something else I anticipate is my envelopes. Okay, I get my APA envelopes from Chris White on Facebook, and he did a few for me. His 1973 baseball, and so I sat here the other night when my APA seasons come in, and I did my cards and I laid them out and I put them in my envelopes. And you can see now, behind me over here, I chipped away at this. It took me a couple of years to chip away at that, not only the seasons but getting the envelopes. So every time I would get a season, I'd have Chris, make me a season that was on the shelf. So right now, I think all my seasons have custom envelopes, courtesy of Chris White. And I was anticipating my envelopes coming in, and they arrived the same day. So I got my APA seasons and my envelopes, and I got to put them right in the envelopes, and I put them on the shelf, and there we go. And so it's something to look forward to, is what we need. It's what we need in life right now. The world is a crazy place, and we need something to look forward to. And for me right now, this is it. I mean, family aside, okay, I'm not saying that, but you need something to enjoy. Like, my wife likes to read in bed, and she likes to watch her crime stories. So we'll have dinner and we'll do our thing, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go watch my crime shows, and I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna go play a game here or something like that. And we're both happy doing what we enjoy doing. And so it's something to look forward to, these things here. And Dwayne comes by here. How about watching a game being played and thinking, I can't wait till the season is over to see that player's cut? Yes. Well, that was the other thing I was talking about. So not only do you anticipate, seasons, that you order coming in the mail, or maybe you try a new game out. Okay, I'm going to try a new game, and I'm going to order that. Now it's coming in the mail, or maybe it's a PDF, or maybe it's a PC game. And you're like, oh, this is kind of neat. I can't wait to give this a try, because there's been times that I've ordered PDFs, or I've ordered PC games that I didn't get to that night. I ordered them. Maybe they were on sale, or whatever it was. So I ordered the game, and it's sitting here on the computer. But as it is, work just gets in the way. Life gets in the way, and sometimes it'll sit here for 3 weeks or a month. And I'm like, man, I ordered this. I want to play this. I'm anticipating playing this game. I want to check it out. I want to see if it's as fun as everybody says it is. And so sometimes it is like that. It is, waiting to play the game. And in case, like Dwayne said, it's, waiting for a new season. I think any time now, I think the shootout season should be dropping so we can replay the playoffs here. And because I think that's when it usually comes out. So I think, yeah, I think John drops those early May, late April, early May, so you can play the playoffs. So he's probably working on this season right now, and hopefully he'll get that season released. But yeah, so I'm anticipating a new season shootout hockey so I can play the playoffs like I've done the last couple of years. Strat is dropping 1997 baseball. Some people are anticipating that. So it's an older season, but technically it's a new season. It's back in stock. So yes, so you can anticipate you know, a season ending so you can get the cards for next season and play them. So that is another thing. Let's go back to the chat room. The Equalizer says, yes, getting back into sports board games has taken me back to when I find a new game. I do feel like a kid on Christmas Day. Good analogy. Yes, and I think that's where we all are with that. It's just and you know you buy a game or buy a season, and you get enjoyment out of that. And some people, we've ran into people here, doing the show and the channel for so many years that they say, I play one game and, basically one season or a couple seasons. That's it. And they don't spend any money and they just replay the same game, the same seasons. Perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. I just like variety. Again, I'm a kid in the candy store with this stuff. It's like, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. It's like, oh, I need to play George Brett. I need to play Reggie Jackson. I need to play Tony Esposito. All these things come up that I need to go do and need to play and scratch that itch, so to speak. The other day, it was in the middle of the afternoon. I got work done. The wife had an appointment after work, so I'm just sitting here myself. I pulled out Apple Hockey and I played a game between the New York Rangers and the Atlanta Flames. It wasn't a part of a project. It wasn't part of anything else. I just looked behind me. I saw 7980, and I said, I want to play some Atlanta Flames. Who are they going to play? They're going to play the Rangers. I just played them. I had absolute blast, in playing that game. I really, really enjoyed it. And like I say, just going back and playing the old teams and the names, it was so, so fun. VL stops by. Hi, Dave. Good Friday evening. Good to see you. What has Ronald got to say here? I played an APA baseball game last night. 2K12, Kansas City at LAA. Pujols was on fire. Game-winning home run, single, and a double with 4 RBIs. Trout 0 for 5. A frowny face. And that was a lot of fun. Yeah, wasn't it? You had a blast, right? I've been playing. I bought a couple of World Series teams from APA a while back. I think I got like some old ones, and then I think I got a couple newer ones, 70s newer. And so I said, I'm going to pull out the 70 World Series. I don't know anything about the 70 World Series. That's a little before my time, 1970 World Series. Okay, I was only just a wee lad. And so it was Baltimore, Cincinnati, I think. And I played here, and Jim Palmer mowed down the Reds in game 1, and then in game 2, the Orioles were winning in the 9th, and they loaded the bases, and Johnny Bench doubled and walked it off, and the Reds won game 2. And again, I know Bench and Rose and some of those guys, but there's a lot of guys I don't know, and I don't, I wasn't old enough to watch that World Series, and but it was so fun watching that happen. Again, we did a show on how do they do that. How I'm rolling dice and looking at cards, and next thing you know, I feel like I'm watching the World Series, and here comes Johnny Bench, and he cracks a double, and he wins the game. So cool! It just was neat, and it was even better. I didn't have a stake in the game. I didn't care who won because I'm just playing a couple of teams in the World Series that wasn't the Red Sox, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. It was so fun. Let's see, going back to Jamie over here. Makes me think of the movie Liar Liar. I am Jose Canseco. I don't know why. I wanted to buy 95. I have it in season ticket. Okay, so I do have it in season ticket, but I wanted the Mo Vaughn Jose Canseco. They only played a couple years together in Boston. I don't know why. You know what I think it was in 1995. I was playing on a hockey team. I just got back into playing ice hockey in '95, and we would, after the game, we would pop in to go get a beer somewhere, and the Red Sox are on, and we had some guys that were really into the Red Sox, and so we would go in and just watch Tim Wakefield and whoever else was pitching in '90. I think Wakefield was there in '95, and just Jose and move on. And so they had a good team in '95. So I was thinking about doing '95, but the way Apple kind of works was they give you the first, I think, whatever it costs for a season, you get, was it 800? I think you got like 860 players, but that season had so many. It's so many, so it was gonna cost me another 36 or $40 to get the extra players if I wanted to do a genuine as played in 1995 with APA. And I was like, I wanna play that, but I don't wanna play it that bad. Because I would have to get the extra cards because I would want to play as close to as played as possible, or at least I want to play with the players that are in that game. In fact, I just went to Ron Bernier's site, Baseball Research, I think it was, and I donated $10 and I got the '78 season. So now I have the rosters for every game for every team in 1978. So it's going to show you the 25 guys eligible that game. So that's perfect. So if I play my set, when I'm going to play my '78 Red Sox, so I have all the cards, and now I know who can play and who can't in that game. And I'm going to try to go by that. So the 25 players that played in that game, I'm going to try to find those cards because I think everybody was carded in '78 for that. And that's what I'm going to do. And so I wanted to do that with 95, but not at that price. That's a little bit more than I want to spend. Maybe if I really, really get the itch, and maybe I pick up some extra work this summer, maybe, but I'm gonna be happy doing 78 just at the regular price. Um, but I do want to play some Jose Canseco, and I think I'll do that with the 1988 A's. Tommy ball game. It's the journey for me, not the destination so much. Where the anticipation keeps it alive. Yes, I mean that is half the fun. Again, the journey. You're anticipating getting there, and then sometimes you get there and you do your thing, and then the ride home it's just. Because you've already done it. But getting there, you're like, oh man, I can't wait to get there. Can't wait to get there. So there's that anticipation, and that's what we get here. The other thing, I always anticipate sales because when a sale comes up, right now the Downey Easter sale's going on, and I usually pick up something at the Easter sale. I'll grab a season or maybe try out a new game that they got. Because every now and then during the year I'll pick up and play a Downey game. So it's nice to have a nice variety of seasons to play with Downey. No matter what it is, I do like their football games. The game winning drive is really fun, and momentum football is fun despite how the results a little bit weird, but momentum football is very fun as well. And I like the fast score hockey games and football games I got. And every now and then, like I say, I think I have the ultra quick hockey is season by season. So every now and then I'll buy a season of that and play that a couple games out of that as well. So I do anticipate sales a lot of times. The Black Friday sales is one of our best shows that we do on Digital to Dice. But anytime during the season they have sales. Sometimes they have sales in the summer, and sometimes they're just flash sales. You get an email from Strat or something like that. It's like, okay, well, they're having a big sale at Strat, buy 3 get 1 free or whatever it is. I might have to chime in on that, or free shipping over $100, or whatever it is. You look at it and say, is this something? Will this save me some money on something I was going to get anyway? And maybe you do it. Maybe you do it. So I really do anticipate sales and I look forward to that. And sometimes, I bought time travel baseball from Downey. Okay. And I hemmed and I hawed about waiting till Easter because I knew they were going to have the sale. And it's, well, as much as, I would say, I think the game's like $21. So I'd save $4, something like that. And I just said, I really want this game right now. So I ordered the time travel baseball and I got it in. It's like, oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm glad I got it because I've been playing a lot of time travel baseball. So even though I would have saved money if I waited till this week to get it, I've had it for 3 or 4 weeks and enjoyed it immensely. So I'm not sad that I didn't get that on sale, but I look forward to sales as well. Um, and Ronald says I might have to watch that movie again. I don't remember that scene. That must be the Jose Canseco sports time machine stopping by. And Ronald says, Dwayne, that's a great comment. I do that too. RJL stopping by after his baseball game. I think that was a nice win by the Sox. Didn't they kick the crap out of him tonight? From what I saw, I tuned in late, but it looks like the Sox are kicking the crap out of him. And Robert says, always look forward to playing every game I do during my replays. Yeah, I mean, there's that. And sometimes what'll happen is, like I said, I'm at work and I'm anticipating and counting down the hours so I can go home and play. And I've done that so many times. I'm at the rink, and even if it's late, like I work late a couple nights during the week, and I'll be sitting there and it'll be 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I'm like, man, I can't wait till this game's done so I can go home, and jump in and play a game, even if it's late at night, even if I don't finish the game, at least if I can start something and really enjoy. So I anticipate coming home from work and actually playing, especially late at night because it's quiet in here. If she's in bed, the dogs are quiet usually, and I can really just kind of play and enjoy myself late at night. So that's what I anticipate coming home from work and playing those games, and it's so fun. Go back to the chat room here. Yes, Ronald does something special, and you think how his cards are going to look. Yep. And Jamie says, liar scene is when he's getting taken away from contempt for contempt of court. It was about playing ball with his kid, who was Hideo Nomo. That's kind of cool. Jeffrey stops by. It was good to see me playing a little Apple hockey game. Yes, I'll be getting more hockey back on the channel between Apple and Hockey Bones, and I want to work in some strat. The only thing that keeps me from playing strat is I don't have a setup for it yet. The Apple and the Hockey Bones, the cards are small enough that I can fit them on the table. You've seen how I played them. It's almost identical. Excuse me. And now that I have the Excel spreadsheet with all the charts and the dice rolls, the games go really quick, and I don't need any setup anymore. Everything is on the Excel sheet, except for the score sheet that I keep the stats on. So I'll be playing some more Apple hockey here. Like I said, I did order a season of Apple hockey, and I think that's I think it was 82, 83 or 81, 82. I forget what's coming in. But that's the Brad Park Buffalo Sabres game 7 overtime goal. So I'm gonna definitely replay that and see if I can get the Bruins past the Sabres in that series again, because that was a very good series. So I bought that, and I'll be playing that. So I'll be playing that in APA. And Hockey Bones, I think I got 80, 81, and I'm going to be playing the Minnesota North Stars. I want to see how far I can get the North Stars and Hockey Bones in their playoffs. They beat the Bruins. They swept the Bruins, actually, 3-0. And then they went on to, I think they got all the way to the finals that year before they lost to the Islanders. So I want to see how far I can get the North Stars. They were kind of a Cinderella story, so I don't expect to get too far with them. But so you're going to see some more hockey back on the channel. I even played some shootout hockey. I dug out the 77-78 season. I'm going to play the Cleveland Barons. I'm going to play every game. So I'm trying a new method out where I use the helper on the screen, but I keep score on paper instead of in the helper, because I really don't need to. When you get goals and penalties in the helper, you got to go in. It's drop down menus. It's a little cumbersome. It works fine, but it's if I'm going to play every game, I don't need that. I just need the results. So if they score, I write it down here. I don't even keep scoring the helper. So I'm using the helper to flip my cards and to show me the team cards, which I have anyway, but they're in the helper as well. So for me, I'm going to be cranking out some shootout here, playing the Cleveland Barons, and see how I do. But at least I'll have the goal scorers and the penalties, in the game for the most part. But I don't need all the craziness. I think I kept shots on net just for fun as well. So I'm going to try to crank through some shootout here. I might play that, but if I don't keep scoring the helper, then the visuals aren't that good. So I'm not sure how I'm going to stream that. And Ronald says he was born in 66. He started to get interested in baseball in 74. Me too. I was born right after you, and it was right around 74, 75. In fact, I didn't even play ball till probably about 74, 75. I was hockey, street hockey. That's all I did was street hockey. And then I got a glove, and I said, let me see if I can play some baseball. I'd never hit a ball before, and I was actually pretty good at baseball for many years. And I got some all-star trophies, and we won the championship in 1980. Won the town championship. So like I say, that mid 70s was my sweet spot there, mid to late 70s. And I love the cards from, I think 76 were my favorite cards. 76 and 77 were my favorite baseball cards. But yeah, that's about the time I get into it, Ronald. Now, I am I'm trying to just expand this window, because my window is, I vaguely remember the 75 Sox. Like I said, I was 8 years old and I wasn't into baseball as much. So, um, I didn't really follow the Sox, but 76, 77 started playing baseball, and then I started following the Sox at that point there. So, like I say, 76, and then I followed them right up through maybe not quite when I graduated in 85. So maybe it was a little bit before that. And obviously 86 when they went big, we watched them there. But by that time I had my license in my car. I was at high school and I'm running around doing whatever and I'm playing in bands. And so I didn't really follow the baseball like I did as a kid. This week in baseball. I used to love that every week. Glued to the TV for This Week in Baseball when I was a kid. But what I'm trying to do is squeak out this box a little bit, especially going back. So normally I'd be playing 77 and up, but I bought 76 for Strat. Um, I've been playing some 74 in season ticket and also Strat PC. I bought a Strat PC, but I just picked up 73 for APA. So I'm inching my way back. And then again, I have the 2 World Series teams for APA that I've been playing as well. So I'm trying to just expand my baseball window just a little bit here as I learn and I remembered a lot of the names, but I just didn't know them as well. So yes, I'm in the same area. In Sports Time Machine, 70 World Series was when I first learned about Brooks Robinson being called the human vacuum cleaner. Yep, yep. And Cleveland baseball fan stops by. And so Jamie says, name something people anticipate. And your answer is anticipate next episode of Digital to Dice. Let's see if that answer is on the board. Survey said, yeah, we'll see. Well, I did have that written down. I got my little notes here, and I did have that down. I do look forward to the show. I do. And Ron and I talk all week long, and we try to nail down a time depending on what's going on with him and what's going on with me. And we say, okay, what day are we gonna do? What are we gonna talk about? And so I do anticipate that because sometimes, I'll be when I play during the week, or maybe I'll get a new game or a new season or something really, really fun happens. You want to talk about it. And that usually is how we come up with topics for the show. Is something will happen to one of us, and it's like, let's talk about that. And let's see if anybody else in the community feels the same way or had the same experience. And a lot of times, we're not alone. What happened to us happens to a lot of you, and you tell us that in the comments. That yep, same thing happened to me, and it's so funny that you bring that up, and so we get that a lot. So sometimes, like I say, Ron will say, hey, I ran into something really crazy. Let's talk about it. And there's other times that it's like, boy, I had something really cool happen. Let's talk about it. Or even, well, some of you guys, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or Delphi, you'll post something and it'll catch our eye, or and I'll say, hey, did you catch that post? And he'll be like, yeah. Yeah, it's like we should really talk about that because that's something that we really either haven't covered or haven't covered in depth. So let's do that. And so that's how we get a lot of our show topics. And I anticipate talking about that. I also like when we do the shows, when we get the feedback shows, when we put out questions and we get feedback from you guys. I anticipate talking about that because it's fun hearing what everybody else has to say. Like what games did you get for Black Friday, or how do you feel about this, or what do you do about that? And every now and then we'll put out these questions. A lot of times they go to our Discord, to our Patreons first, and then sometimes we'll open it up to everybody. But it's fun to get the feedback shows are fun because we can kick back and just read your feedback on something instead of always hearing us. So it is kind of nice. And Ronald says baseball cards favorite sets 76 and 77. Yep, Fidrich rookie in 77. I thought he was 76. I thought Fidrich's rookie was 76. Could be wrong about that. But I thought he was in the Strat 76 set. I thought. Jamie says, so it was on the board we play then. Yep. So yes, I mean, so do you guys anticipate playing? I know I do. I mean, I enjoy this. This is a big deal for me. Not only for the YouTube channel, but for the show and just for myself. Even if I didn't have this channel or the show, I would probably be enjoying my games and I'd share them on Delphi or whatever. But let me, and like I said, the other day I was at work and I just was like, man, I just want to get this done so I can go home and play. And every day I look at that, I look at my schedule. It's like, oh, I have a light day today. All I got to do is this, and this, and then I can play all day. And it never works out. So, something always comes up, something always happens, something you got to deal with, or whatever it is, it just life gets in the way, and next thing you know, the day is gone, and it's like, oh man, I didn't get to play anything today, and I was so looking forward to it, and that's kind of the bummer. So I had this anticipation of getting up, and I'm gonna bang everything out by noontime, and then I'm gonna sit down and play in the afternoon. I don't care, and next thing you know, 3:30, 4 o'clock comes around. It's like, yeah, I haven't done anything as fun yet today. It just kind of happens. That's why I used to when I was playing Hockey Bones, when I was doing my 92, 93 Bruins replay, which I will get back to, I would set up. Like I said, I cleaned up a whole area of the cellar here, and I put a big table, 6 foot table, and so that's my gaming table now when I'm not streaming. And I remember I would set up Hockey Bones, and I would play a period. I can only do a period at a time because it's a lot of dice rolls. This Excel helper has sped up my Hockey Bones play tremendously. And so I remember I would, play a period here, period there, come home from work late at night, play a period, because it would take me 30, 40 minutes, 45 minutes sometimes to play a period of Hockey Bones, rolling your own dice. And I was like, well, I can't really do a whole game in one setting. So I would just leave it set up. And I get up in the morning. It's okay. Before I get to work, I'm going to play a period, whether it was the third period and finish the game or not. But that's how I did it, is I would play a period here, a period there. And I would have to just say, okay, work's going to hold off for a half hour, or get up half hour early in the morning to play before I start work. And that's how I would play the game sometime. But I would anticipate playing, and sometimes I just never got to it. Jamie says 1980 cards were his favorite because that was the first year he started collecting cards. I remember hoping to get Fred Lynn, and instead he kept getting Doug Flynn. Close, right? Close. I still have a lot of my baseball cards. I used to have 3,000 baseball cards. I don't think I have them anymore. I must have lost some of them. I thought I kept them all, but when I looked at the box that I had between the hockey and the baseball cards, I'm like, this is not all of them. So I don't know what happened to them, or what, but I thought I had a lot of cards, but I guess I didn't. And Jeff says, these talk shows proves I'm not totally crazy. There are others just as wacky as yourself. Yes, yeah, we're all wacky, we are definitely all wacky. Um, and last night, yesterday afternoon, I think it was. Like I say, I had a couple hours before the wife come home, and I was done work. And I think I just walked the dog. It's like, okay, every adult thing I need to do today is done, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna play. So that's when I pulled out my Apple Hockey, went behind me, I said, threw it on the table, banged out a game, and I'm sitting here talking to myself, as you do. I was really getting into it. It was just, now Phil Esposito was with the Rangers. Now Esposito, shorthanded, he scores. And so now the Rangers, are within one goal. And then you got a power play goal. I'm like, Esposito scores. He's got a power play goal and a shorthanded goal. The Rangers scored 5 times in the second period. Excuse me. They were trailing 2-0. They scored 5 goals in a row. Yeah. And then Atlanta scored 2 in the third. They got their last one late. So it was 5-4 with under a minute to play. And I was like, and I'm doing the broadcast. Like, oh, can the Flames pull this out? They need to win the draw and get a shot on net, and hopefully they can score, and blah, 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 blah. And there I am, just talking to myself, enjoying this game, totally into it, even though it's just a fake game. It was just a one-off, but it was just such a blast. It really was. So yeah, so we're all crazy because we do things and we enjoy it. And yes, so baseball mogul guy says, glad to know I'm not the only one who talks to myself. Yeah, you have to. You have to, because that's the part of it. And I see people play, and then it's like single, double play, fly to left, next inning, ground ball, strikeout, walk, pop out. And I'm just like, man, you're flying through the game, and I get it. You could really rip through the game and get your stats, but are you really enjoying that? Are you savoring it? Or are you just eating it for the sake of just getting it in your mouth? And so I like when I was playing my World Series the other night, totally offline, and I'm like watching the game play out, and I'm like, holy cow! It's like, Reds are gonna go down the series 0-2. Nope, they load the bases in the top of the ninth, and the relief pitcher come in and did not get the job done, and Johnny Bench doubles in a couple of runs, and they win it, and I'm just like, unbelievable, Johnny Bench. And I think I stayed up late. I think you probably see my little newspaper little recaps that I've been doing. Those are fun to do. And I think that's how I'm going to do it, because I can kind of condense everything into one little thing. It's mostly for myself, but it's a fun little way of doing it. It's visual, and it's a 30-second read. So I think it was Glenn that started that on our Facebook group, and I was like, it's all done in PowerPoint. I was like, let's do it. Let's do these recaps like this, because I can just put up a graphic, and I can share it in a couple different places, and it's a 30-second read. In fact, you don't even have to click on the picture. Sometimes you can just read it if you want. And so I'm enjoying doing that. So I stayed up late, and I did that. In fact, I set up a couple of websites. I set up hockeyReplayNews.com and baseballreplaynews.com, and I'm just going to start putting my projects there with these newspaper clippings type thing. And so I got, I'm going to have, all the different products will have a different folder, and I'll have call it, so you can call up these little newspaper things. And so I stayed up late, like 1:30 one night, setting up my website just so I could put images up. but it was fun, it really was. It really was. Going back to the chat room here. Oh, I'm a little bit behind here, you guys. Sorry about that. And it was Bobby. Thanks for coming by, Bobby. 1975 baseball cards, but the season I first remember is 76. Yeah, me too. I'm about the same way. In fact, I was playing. Was I playing 75? And where was I playing that? Was that Strat? I was playing 75 or 74. I forget. And I think Sports Time Machine sent me the 76 cards, which I liked better. So whatever season I was playing the baseball cards from the following season, just because I liked them better. I think it was 75. That's when I first started trying to figure out how to get images into Strat PC baseball. And he sent me the baseball cards from I think it was for Boston, Cincinnati. I think I was just playing the World Series, and I just liked them better. So instead of using the actual pictures and cards from that season, I used the next one because I just liked them better. I just did. We'll go back to the chat room here. Let's see. World's Worst Gamer. I got too much time on my hands to game, so I think I appreciate it less. Anticipation would be higher if you had a real life local people to play with. It might be, yeah. And that's the other thing, because sometimes I don't have any time to play. When I'm going from rink to rink to rink in the winter time, and it's just, then I come home and I'm too tired to play. I miss it so much, and I look forward to having maybe my one day off, so I can and I'll tell the wife, say, look, I'm off on this day. I'm not doing any work. So I said, I'm going to sleep in. I'm going to get up and I'm going to get downstairs. And I'm going to play a couple of games, and then we can go out to lunch or dinner if you want. But I says, I need to, so looking forward to playing games I haven't played in so long. And so, yeah, so sometimes it's, having a lot of time is kind of a curse too. It really is. So that's a good point. Um, And Jamie says, it's funny you could come across 100 sports fans our age, and likely none will have played or certainly still not playing these games. Maybe, maybe. There's a lot of people that do this here. There's a lot of people that don't, but I tell you, I was amazed. And, I think I've told this story that um, one of my first times I ever rolled dice and looked at cards, and I forget if it was shootout hockey or stratomatic hockey. But I had the cards because Ron convinced me to get some cards. He said, get shootout first, and then I got a season of Strat. I think I ordered Strat off of eBay, I think it was. It was really inexpensive. It was an older version. It had two teams. I think it was like Toronto, Pittsburgh, or something like that. It was really weird teams to have. Um, and then I liked it, so I ended up ordering the newer game of the season, and I think I printed out Quebec, Hartford. I printed out those teams for Strat because those are the teams that they weren't part of the six. And I played an unbelievable game that night. And I was just like, how does this happen? How do you roll dice and look at a card and look at a chart and then feel like you've been at a hockey game? It makes no logical sense. And if you try to tell somebody that, yeah, I'm playing a game and I got little cards and a chart and I roll dice, and like, oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Take care. See you later. But sit down and do it. And it's like, holy cow. And I had a friend of mine who's a lot younger than me, and he broke his leg. So I went over his house. I bought a copy of Shootout Hockey for him, And I bought, I think it was 93, 94, because he was a Rangers fan. And I says, check out this game. I says, you laid up, you can't go out. I says, I bought this for you. Check it out. I brought over dice and everything. So I showed him how to play. And he's a younger kid. He's like, wow, this is pretty amazing. And he played quite a few games. I don't think he ever finished the season, but I gave him all the cards and he had the schedule and he played quite a bit. Then now that his leg heals up, he doesn't play anymore. But at the time he was amazed. He goes, wow, I can't believe how fun this game is. And he would, send me a text of the score. Oh, the Rangers won, the Rangers lost. And he was having a blast. I introduced it to him. He's having a blast. And so if you give it a chance, it is super fun. It really is. It's weird when you think about it. It really is. Let's see. Ronald says, Jamie, I had a group of friends that regularly played status pro baseball in the 90s, but none of them will take the time to play any games now. Wow, that's interesting. It's okay with me. Solo play is quite fun. I've never played with anybody. I played a little bit with Ron, and maybe I played online with somebody once or twice. Myself, I like to play by myself because I play my own rules, I play my own pace, I play the teams I want to, and I play it the way I want to. And if you're playing with somebody else, you need to set ground rules, and then it gets, can be competitive a little bit as well. So to me, it's not as fun. When I play, I like to play myself, and every now and then someone will say, "Hey, you want to go online and play a game?" And I really don't. I like just to play myself. I like to play my own pace. So if I'm sitting here playing, if I want to fly through the game, I fly through it. If I want to stop and put on satellite radio and put on my yacht rock radio and listen to music, or listen to a talk show or a podcast, or maybe one of you guys are streaming on YouTube, I'll put you guys on in the background. But I'm always distracted. So I can play a little bit and I walk away. Play a little bit and I'm gonna go. Let me go get a drink. You know what I mean? I go get a seltzer water. I come back. I make a cup of coffee or something. So I mean, I like to kind of do my own thing. Whereas if I'm playing with somebody, you gotta be more focused and do it. Now I can imagine that, if you had local people, it'd be fun. I'd love to find somebody local that I could just sit down with and quote have the beer and pretzels and play a couple of games with and not have to worry about anything. Might be kind of fun. Um, but solo play, I really enjoy the solo play. I like playing by myself. That's just me because I can, like I say, do whatever, play the game I want the way I want. But I can see how it could be fun playing against somebody too. Let's see here. Tommy Ballgame. He gets and he says, yes, talking to yourself is a must. I find myself mimicking Jack Brickhouse or Harry Carey on some calls. Makes it seem real. I used to do that when I was a kid, crying out loud. I'd be playing street hockey. Yeah, he comes in, back it scores. That's what you did as a kid, and that's what I do here on the table. It just means I'm not running around anymore. It means I'm playing at the table. But I would do that. In fact, I had, when I was a kid, I think I might have told this story. Um, my mother used to make hockey cakes for me, like the sheet cake and paint it white and put all the lines on there. And she found these little hockey cake characters, and now on eBay they're ridiculously expensive. But there was all these plastic, some were just like wax, and some were plastic hockey figures. And every year she would just buy more and put. And so I had a ton of hockey guys, and I would play on the table. And then my grandfather actually built me a little hockey rink. It was about, I don't know, about the size of this desk here. And he put little boards around it and nets and all the lines. And I would take my hockey cake guys and I would play hockey and I would talk to myself while playing it. And it was absolute blast. Hours and hours. My mother never had to worry about nothing. I'd be sitting there just in my room, sitting down. I put my legs under this thing because it was on a stand. And I just played my hockey guys all day long. It was so great. I played that thing for years talking to myself the whole time. And let's see, where are we over here? Let's see. If more channels went over actual results data, my anticipation of watching stuff on YouTube would be greater. Not enough of that yet. Okay. Um, let me see. Charles stops by. Thanks for coming by, Charles. We're talking about anticipation tonight. I kind of started talking about the seasons that you get in the mail or the games that you get in the mail, how just it's like Christmas morning when they come in and you open it up and you look at the cards or you look at the game and there's nothing like learning a new game because you never know. you know like I thought I had settled on Strat as my hockey game, And then I played APA. Then I was like, no, APA is my hockey game. And then I played Hockey Bones. Hockey Bones is definitely my hockey game. But now I play them all. Not so much the Strat anymore, except on the PC. But cards and dice, like I'll play one game of Bones and a game of APA because I just like them both. But having them, come in and learning new games, and that's the other thing about learning new games. We talked about that too. If you never learn a new game, you never know. You might find a game that you really, really like. You really do. I like, the APA baseball. I like the Strat Basic right now. I'm playing Strat Basic. Pocket Pennant Run, I really do like. So I have baseball games. Why would I buy more? Well, I bought season ticket baseball and I love it. I love season ticket baseball. It's a more complicated than Strat Basic and APA Basic, but I love it. I just love it, and I love how I can use whatever rules I want to use in that. If I want to use them all, I use them all. I don't know them all, so I don't use them all. But I mean, I play a little bit of basic, but I also incorporate some advanced. I love season ticket. I do. It's not a fast play game because it's a little more complex than some of the others, but I love season ticket. I bought Back to Basics Baseball by Downey Games. That is such a fantastic deal, by the way. You get all those seasons. You go to the website. I think one click, you download all the spreadsheets or the PDFs to what they were, and you get the pitching and the batting for the team, and from any year you want. And so I printed out a couple teams from 79, and I'm playing those in my 79 replay, and you flip the cards, and I love Back to Basics baseball. It's basics. You still get some decent results with it. No, it's good. Uh, but if I didn't try it, I wouldn't know I liked it so much. And sometimes I want that. Status Pro just come out, so I'm trying that. I'm finding I've never played Status Pro baseball. I like it. I like it. So it's like, boy, there's that. So there's all these different games that I've been picking up and trying, and it's like, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I tried new games because I thought I had settled on this is my game to play, and I buy a bunch of seasons, but then you find another game. It's like, I like this one too. It does things a little bit different. Sometimes, I don't want to, pull out a bunch of charts. So I play this game. Sometimes I do. So I play this game, and sometimes I'm in the mood for this. So I play this game. Um, so there's all these different games I play, and I enjoy them all, and I'm glad I tried them all. But when, you know, you get them in the mail, or you say, something I'm gonna, like season ticket. I bought a bunch of season ticket PDFs. They were fairly inexpensive, especially during the sale. And I was like, oh man, I should have grabbed more season ticket seasons because I really like this game, and I could see myself playing a lot of season ticket, and I have. And then he had another sale a few weeks later. I think it was a Black Friday sale that I got it, and then it was a Christmas sale. So I went back and I got a few more. So I anticipate the sales. I really anticipate that. And so I grabbed a few more. And if he had another sale, I might grab a couple more seasons because I'm expanding my baseball a little bit here. So I'm enjoying that very much. And in fact, I'm looking for, like I said, I'm looking. So when early in we talked about anticipating, seasons and games coming in the mail. That's probably the biggest anticipation, but also new seasons. We talked about, when a new season comes out, whether they like Strat drops a new season from the past, like they just did, or if it's a season, okay, well, the season ends, we're going to make the cards, and, now you can play the current season. So there's that anticipation as well. There's just the anticipation of playing these games. I talked about how I'm at work counting down the hours so I can come home and play. Or, sometimes you're out doing something that you don't want to be doing, but you do with a smile on your face. And, and you sit there like, yeah, boy, let's hope this thing wraps up soon so I can go home and play something. So there's that anticipation too, So there's a lot of different things with anticipation. Going back to the chat room. Um, what do we got? Maybe I'll start doing that more, said Cleveland baseball fan. I know Ron does that when he does the Action PC baseball replay, so I'm not really sure what they were talking about with that. We're talking about the data and the accuracy. I think it's not hard for me to do with baseball reference. Yeah, with baseball reference is great. Like I said, I just picked up from the Ron Bernier site, the baseball research, a baseball sim research. I'll have to double check that. And I picked up the 1978 season. It was $10. You got to donate $10. But he's got the whole season laid out, every game with that lineup for that game. So if you want to do a true as played, which I'm going to try to do with my 78 Red Sox, I like to know who's in the game. And you have the cards, and you can go to Baseball Reference, and it tells you who played in the game. But what I wanted to know was who was available to play. And that's the one thing that I could never find anywhere, but now I found it there. So I donated $10 and I got 1978. And we're gonna have him on the show too. I was talking to one email about having him on the show. And I'm gonna probably grab a couple other seasons too, so I can know who's in the game. So it tells you the 25 guys who are in the game, and that's what I was looking for. I want to know who's available to me because season ticket has everybody, APA has everybody. And so I want to know. I want to know who the 25 guys available. So when I'm sitting here playing my game, and it's like, okay, well, this guy's 0 for 3. I'm going to pinch hit for him late in the game, or I'm going to pinch run, or I'm going to, this guy committed a couple errors. I'm taking him out. However I want to manage the game. I want to know who was sitting in that dugout that I could bring in, which pitchers were available that day. And this is going to tell me. And I can only imagine that I will probably be picking up a handful more of these seasons from him as well. So I can know in advance, who's in the game. And I think the Digital Diamond probably does a good job with that too. Um but I can, like I say, what I like to do is when I have the cards in front of me with App or a Strat, I kind of like to look at that and have those cards in front of me so I don't have to always rely on Digital Diamond. So that way I just know I have the cards ready, you know what I mean? Oh, let's see here. Back into the chat room. Jamie says, I was the same way, Ronald. I had a group of kids in our neighborhood that played by high school and by high school and college myself, and one friend played adult hockey league, has still played with, but not long after. Charles says solo gamer here. Yep. I'm 99.9% solo gamer. Doesn't mean that I won't play with somebody from time to time if we're just kind of hanging out or whatever, but I just choose to play myself, like, for all the reasons I just stated. Um, Cleveland baseball fans. I've played with others, but the majority for me has been solo. There's actually there's a little bar restaurant uptown here, and and in the back room, it's $5 to go there and hang out, and they have all these board games on the shelf, like tons of board games. You know what I mean? Some of the bigger games, like the Star Wars that you lay out and stuff like that, and then some of the smaller games, like Life and stuff like that. But yeah, I always wanted to go out there. I think I did one time. I went up with a friend of mine. I took just one of the games I had here, like a shootout hockey or a baseball game, and we just played on the table there that day. And just get out of the house again. We talked about just getting out of the house. We just get out of the house and hung out, and I think we had a beer and a burger, and I was able to play something at the table here that day. And I think we went out as a couple. I think the four of us went out and we found something off the shelf to play, and it was okay, you know. But yeah, just to go out in public, it's hard to play these things in public. You can't really go to a restaurant. I'm going to go to Denny's. Play Appa baseball. But this place is designed for that, and they do charge you to use the room. So it's a couple of bucks, so they make some money, and they make some money on the food and drink that you get. But you're amongst people that want to play. So that's the other thing, because there's really no place to go and hang out and do that there. But so once in a while, I'll go out and do that. Charles says, I usually take 2 to 3 small breaks a period and at least 15 to 20 minutes each intermission. Yeah. Well, it all depends. If the game's moving along, I move along with it. But sometimes it's like up penalty, or you get a ton of goals or something like that. So sometimes it's just like, oh man, depends how choppy the game is. If the game is not that choppy, I'll play right through. And I do take a break at the end of the period usually, because I don't like to sit here for an hour and a half. I gotta get up and walk around or check email or something like that. And yeah, that's just what I do too. All right, what else we got in the chat room here? Ronald says, I have to um, agree with all the solo players. I talk to myself as well. Okay. Um, Let me see. Yeah, he shoots, he scores. Yeah, I do that all the time. When last night I was playing, he shoots, oh, he scores. Oh no, the game is tied. I do that. Let's see. Jamie says, I play in a draft football league against human coaches with Strat. It's fun, but it is solo too. Really totally different what I get out of playing solo versus against someone. Yeah. Yeah. What I would like to do um is I would like to be part of a bigger project. Whereas and I wouldn't want to run it, okay? But there was somebody that was doing a shootout project one time, and they were like, "Hey, can you take a team and just play some of their games, and we'll all play games together. Send me in the scores, and I'll tally it all up." And that sounded like a neat idea, so we could all play, a game or two a week. Send this guy in the scores and the stats, and he would compile it all. So all of us would contribute to this season long project, and it went really well. Now, I didn't do it. I was just kind of watching from the sidelines, and this is probably about 3 years ago, maybe even four. I think it was right around the time it might even been before we started Digital to Dice. And I was following along on Delphi, and then all of a sudden, one guy dropped off, and another guy dropped off. So people were trying to pick up the slack and play the games with them, and then eventually the guy that ran it just kind of dropped off. So I don't even know if it got out of the first month of play for this. And it might have even been shootout hockey, I think, for is what it was. And so I was like, yeah, I could see how that, you got a handful of guys, they're all gung ho, but after a week or two, you just, I can't get to it, or I get busy, and then you just drop out because I can see how you get frustrated doing something like that. It's like, man, I don't have the time for this. It's something else I got to worry about. I'm not having fun. Just no, So I always wanted to do something like that, like part of a group project, but at the same time, if you fall behind, you get frustrated, and if someone else falls behind, you get frustrated. So you need to find the right group of guys that could just kind of bang this out. So yeah, I get that. And let's see, Charles says, I'm not saying I will not buy any more sports sim games, but I have more than enough to keep me busy at the moment. Yeah, I do too. Yep. No, I have more than, like I said, I have enough to last me, 100 years, if I don't buy another one. But we talked about just sometimes you got to get out of the house. Sometimes you just got to get out of the house. Sometimes you just got to get away. You go out to eat, go down the mall, buy a pair of shoes. Sometimes, like I say, every Sunday morning, I'd go out with a friend of mine and we'd go shop in the retro stores. And I would buy stuff that, probably still sitting here behind me that I never ever played, but I said one day I might. But it was just fun to go out and just get out of the house and spend 10, 15, $20 and get something new and just feel like you're living your life, You feel like you just, you gotta do that. I think that's just part of the hobby, and we all collect stuff too, I think, for the most part. It doesn't mean you gotta go overboard with stuff and stay within your means, but so I think that's kind of important. And Bernard stops by here. He's getting close to his channel launch. It's going to launch right before my birthday this month, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll buy almost any game that has all the seasons for the price of just buying the game. Yep. So sometimes that'll work out too. Charles, currently playing Apple Hockey, Hockey Bones, Solitaire Pro Football, Fast Drive Football, ASG Golf, and History Maker Golf. That's pretty much what I'm doing too. You've hit all the highlights there. Appa, hockey, hockey bones. I haven't played football in a while. The last time I played football, I did that project with Tampa Bay, and I think I played every game for the Buccaneers in fast drive football, momentum football, game winning drive. There was a couple other games. I think it was a quick play game I did. No long play games though. I didn't do any long play games. Mike Sealock 2-minute drill. I think I did. But I need to get back to Solitaire Pro Football. I did enjoy that game. The only issue with Solitaire Pro Football, like any of the other games, second season like that, it's just a long game. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's play by play, and even though I use the helper on the screen, it that keeps all the stats and it's fun. Excuse me. It's just long. It's just a long, long game. So so I've been doing the baseball and the hockey thing, and I get the hockey streamline right now, but I haven't got back into football. But that's one I want to do because I have a lot of seasons for that, and I like Mike too, who designed the game and sells the game. Let me see here. Let me see. World's Worst Game. I saw that Appa for PC is finally able to be downloaded, not just for CD. And he looks forward to playing that next month when he buys. Yeah, that's going to be yeah, that's the baseball for Windows. I think you're talking about, right? Yes, they announced that they're slowly rolling that out so you can download that instead of being on a CD because they finally realized that there's some PCs that don't have a CD player. I think I bought a laptop one time and it was supposed to have a CD player and it didn't. or DVD drive or something like that. I went back to the store. I was like, hey, I bought this thing here. It lists DVD drive and it doesn't have one. So they gave me an external one for free. So it worked out. I don't think I ever really used it too much, but at least it was there. Um, and yes, they finally got a digital download in 2023. Yeah. No, it's just how they did it. Sometimes it's hard to change. Sometimes it costs a lot of money and a lot of time to change how you do things. So it's easy just to kind of keep it the way they're going. It really is. Ronald says, Charles, I haven't bought any golf games yet, but I have interest in getting into it. Have you tried the Appa Golf game? And I looked at the Appa Golf and it looked kind of fun, but I think the ASG is the way to go. Even though I bought the big honking special there, it just made more sense. But ASG was kind of fun, although eh, I like to when I play my cards and dice games, I like to follow along. I don't like most of the time. Sometimes I kick back and it's okay, whatever's going to be. But sometimes I like to follow the game. And so when I roll the dice when I'm playing golf, I like to see what's going to happen. In ASG golf, I get about 80% of that because there's an extra die that you roll that I don't know what it really does, but I don't know if it's the left and right of the ball. So it's not true cards and dice, but it's close. So I enjoy it enough, and I have an idea when I roll the dice what's going to happen, but I'd like to know exactly what's going to happen. Um, but the APA, I looked at that, and that's boy, I tell you, you got the graph, and then you got to figure out the embankments and when they turn, where the ball's going to go. And I saw that, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'd want to get into that. I someday I might, pick up a season of APA golf just to give it a try. But I haven't played that one yet. I do like Donnie's Play of the Game Golf. It's just kind of a round by round score type of thing. The History Maker Golf is very good from play. You can play hole by hole and shot by shot with that. Almost a shot by shot with that. I did like that as well. Let's see what else we got over here. And Charles says he almost got that instead of ASG, but he heard the courses were better than ASG. Now, ASG, I think that there's computer version and a print version, and they're very, very similar to APA. They're very, very similar from what I remember. And he says it's a bit simpler than APA as well. I think so too. And has better rules for the female golfers. Okay. And he says, I'll shop around, watch some YouTube videos before I purchase them. Yep. Yep. And World's Gaming, he says, yeah, he needs to take his laptops to the park locally more and play. So he wants to get some fresh air. Yeah, and you can't do it in the winter. Before the winter, you get out and sat on the drive and played a bit. Yeah, you can't go out in the winter time, it just you sit out. I would do that. Like on a nice day, I would go out sometimes with a laptop and play. So I tried to bring the cards out one time, but with the wind, it just was too much. And it's just I don't want to be chasing cards around. So yeah, I might, I think I had the inside the crease on one of my laptops, and I was able to go and play it outside one time, I think. And Magic Sport coming by here. I was watching a video on your channel the other day. I think was it shootout hockey I was watching? There was something on your channel I was watching the other day. I had it on while I was doing something. And he says, today when I was playing History Maker Baseball, I said, he struck him out quite a few times. Yes, we all do. We all do. I wouldn't want anybody watching me play these things when I'm by myself. When I'm streaming, and I try to entertain. That's one thing. But when I'm down here by myself and I'm not streaming and it's just me, I can imagine if people were coming downstairs and they were watching me, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, what's up with this guy?" But yeah, what do they say? Dance like nobody's watching. Just enjoy it. Do what you do. Do what makes you happy. And within reason. But I mean, if playing these games and broadcasting it, and he struck him out, and you're all excited, and you're like, "Woo, struck him out!" Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all. Let's see. He says, anticipation would be high to get results back if I was playing in a play-by-mail league. Yeah. Yep. No, they still have the play-by-mail leagues. I've never been a part of one, and I'm not sure how they would work, but yeah. Yep. That's exactly right. So you'd be waiting for those results to come in, and yeah, it'd be kind of fun. Like I say, I always wanted to do the group project thing. And there was some that had very low requirements, like 2 games a week. It's like, "Oh, I could do that," you know what I mean? So I always thought about doing that. The Pocket Pennant Run did that one time, but they picked a season from the '60s, and they asked me to do it, and I was just like, I don't know enough about the '60s to make it worth my time, to make it fun for me. So if they had picked the '70s or '80s season, I might have jumped in and done something with them, but for the most part, I just was not my thing. It just wasn't. Um, Let me see. And Cleveland baseball fan says that wonderful Digital to Die show about how much is too much. Yeah, how much is too much? It's well, again, it's whatever you can handle. I mean, I just Sports says the key to a successful league is to find guys who love playing in leagues. Yes, that is a fantastic point. Is people that have played in leagues a long time know what it takes, knows the commitment that you need to do, and that's what makes it work. Yep. One of the Strat hockey leagues I run has been in existence for 30 years, with quite a few still in the league since day one. Yep, that's a smart way to do it. Yep. Yep, that's a very smart way to do it. Is to find people who have been down that road before, that know what it takes, and they know that they need to keep up their end of the bargain, and they're not going to let everybody else down. You're exactly right. Charles says regarding getting out of the house, that's why I have board games. Currently over 200. Ooh. You know, I always wanted to, I because I'm playing the sports games and they're fun. I belong to a lot of groups and I subscribe to a lot of YouTube channels about like different board games. Whether it's war gaming or deck building games or different things like that. And I'm trying to find a good game that I can learn quick enough and maybe have the wife play or have some people over to play. But a lot of them they're so involved and there's so many pieces that you got to have on the table. It's oh man, I just don't want to do that. I'd like to, so I want to ease myself into some easy games that I could either play myself or, the wife could play or something like that, and I just haven't found it yet. But then again, I haven't looked all that hard either, you know. So, but yeah. Let's see. You got to get out sometimes. Yep. That's what you got to do. And Charles says his 84-85 football season resumes this week with week 7. Very nice. Very nice. And he's going to get Appa Baseball for Windows with Ernie Howell Broadcasting. Yep. Good for you. Yep. And Charles says that extra die just adds a reasonable randomness to every effort. Okay, so that must be the ASG golf. Yeah. But the thing is, I'd like to know, like, so when I roll the ASG golf on the computer here and I look and I see, okay, it's going to be a 24 and the 24 is this. I'd like to know, am I hitting it straight? Am I hitting it left? And so as soon as I think I see where it's going to go, it's somewhere else. I'm like, well, I don't feel like I'm playing cards and dice at that point because I can't figure out what happened. And there's a few games that do that. They throw this extra behind the scenes role, and I get why they do that, but at the same time, like when you're playing, well, even Strat PC baseball, once in a while they have a role in the background that you just got to deal with. But a lot of it is you putting in the dice. That's why I love the Digital Diamond board game companion, because you control everything. It's your cards and dice, and you put in the results, and that's what I really enjoy right now. Let's see here. And Bernard says, I like to play season replays in season by date. This time of year, it's tough, though. He'll have to finish the NHL and NBA seasons while starting at baseball. Overlapping seasons are a killer. I know, yeah, there's people that do that. I've heard that they will play games on a certain, like, say, whatever today is, they're going to play those games on the day. And I've seen people that do that. And that's always been interesting. It'd be tough to keep pace with that because you'd have to be playing every day. But yeah, I can see that. All righty. Jim stopping by. Thanks for coming by, Jim. Once I make the purchase, the anticipation builds. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, Jim. That's exactly what I'm talking about, is that, you make a purchase and you sit there, it's like, oh, I'm going to play this team. I'm going to play that team. Even if it's a PDF, if it comes in right away, you order it and you get it right away and you print it out, or you're looking at it on your screen and you're scrolling down. You're like, oh man, look at that guy. And now I'm going to play this guy. And I can't wait to play these two teams. And just the anticipation builds. And that's the joy of this whole thing, is it's something to look forward to. and you can't wait to get it. So any purchase you make at all is you're anticipating that purchase. You're anticipating the games you're going to play. You're anticipating the fun you're going to have, and you're anticipating, the unknowns. You're going to have those crazy games. Or you're going to have those games that you maybe hit the score exact, or you got a walk off, or just something that just brings joy into your life, and that's what we anticipate. That's what we do. And yep, have fun when you get it. That's what we do, you know. Oh, going back to finish it to finish Jim's comment here. I added the suspense by researching the season and players from that period. Yep, and we talked about that here tonight too. Yep, that's half the fun. The anticipation is going back and researching the seasons and trying to immerse yourself in that season. And he currently has Hockey Bones 7172 on order. Okay, I want to know. Have you probably followed my channel? You've seen that I've been playing 71, 72, and I played it in Hockey Bones. And the Rangers destroyed the Bruins. It wasn't even close. They destroyed them. I think one game, the Rangers won by one. They came back in the third to win it. And the other three games, smoke shows. Then I played it in APA to see if it was any better. And Bruins won one game, but the Rangers took the series 4-1. So I want to know, when you do 71, 72, like what your projects are going to be and what your results are, because I think the Rangers might be the best team in that 71, 72 lot. Because when I looked at the Hockey Bones card and even the APA card, the scoring ranges were just tremendously higher for the Rangers compared to the Bruins. So at the end of the game, whether it was APA or Hockey Bones, the scoring chances, which means you need scoring chances to score a goal, the scoring chances they weren't always 2-1 in favor of the Rangers, but they were easily, if the Rangers had 9 scoring chances, the Bruins might have had 4 or 5. So it was always 40% more chances for the Rangers just because of the scoring ranges were so high. So I'm interested to see what results you have in that as well. Jamie says, my first taste of mail order anticipation as a kid came when I ordered the electric football team sets. For weeks, I hoped the UPS truck would stop at our house. Yep. And yeah, I still anticipate that back in the day. Not now, not so much because but back in the day, you had no idea. Try a board game called Azul. Okay, I will write that down. Azul. I'm gonna write that down right now. Azul. All right. See if I can check that game out. And yeah, if you're gonna have the roles, let us see them all. And I get why they do it. I get why they do some things behind the scenes to speed it up. But again, sometimes I like playing the PC games, and sometimes I'm lazy. But sometimes when I roll the dice, I like to figure it out. I do. I want to know that I'm in control of the game. And when I play a game and I roll something and something comes up and it's just like it spoon feeds you, it's just like I want to know why that happened. I do. I'm a stickler like that. I want to know why. How do we get to this conclusion? I'm a math guy. I'm a numbers guy. I always have been. How did we get to this conclusion? When you go on Facebook and you see those little math equations, like, hey, how many? 97% of the population can't figure this out. Well, I want to go. I want to figure it out. I want to why. I want to see that formula and I want to figure it out. It's just, because I like the numbers and I like doing that stuff. And so, yeah, when I play some of these PC games and I roll the dice and I can't figure out why something happened, I do get a little frustrated. I really do. And let's see here. Slash Deep Gaming comes by. Hey, Dave, been in Sports Mogul League online since 2010. And we are in season 21-23. Holy cow, using the 2014 game. That's kind of cool. Sports Mogul Online League. That is really, really cool. Yeah. And they're always looking for players. And do we share our results? Oh, Deep Gaming, do you share your results online anyway? Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. That'd be very interesting to see, how that works out. I almost got the new the baseball mode. I almost got the new one. I got the new football game. That was on sale. I almost got the baseball wasn't on sale, but I didn't. I haven't played the baseball game in quite some time. So what I want to do is I want to go back to the old Sports Mogul, last year's version, and because I think I have that one, and I want to go back and play it again, and want to see if I will play that enough to go and warrant a new version. Because I don't, some of the new stuff that they added in the game, it really didn't matter to me because I'm not that deep into that game and I don't do some of those things. But I was enjoying some of the replays that I did, some of the games that I played in that. It's a very enjoyable game. But I didn't pull the trigger on the new one just yet. All right, so I'm almost out of my drink here, so we'll wrap this up here in the next 5 minutes or so. So, yeah, any final comments on anticipation? Oh, Charles says he has 71, 72 in Appa too. I'm interested to see if you play out the Bruins and the Rangers and how you make out in yours. I go to Hockey Reference and I looked at everybody that played in the game, and I those are the cards I put on the table, and I did the best to kind of set up the lines in both Bones and in Appa, by the way. So I had a pretty good representation of who played in the game. So yeah, so I just wanted to come on tonight and talk a little bit about anticipation. We had a really lively chat tonight, more than I thought tonight on a Friday night. And I just, I got excited about the season that got in the mail. I got excited about my envelopes from Chris White on Facebook, so I can put my Apple cards in it. I just I anticipate, going into work tomorrow, and can't wait to come home and finish the work and play something, and look forward to doing something tomorrow night. Maybe I'll stream a game tomorrow night, and I do that too. I anticipate streaming. Sometimes I'll say, what game do I want to stream? Do I want to do baseball? Do I want to do hockey? Which baseball game? Which hockey game? Why do I want to do it? And things like that. So I'm really kind of enjoying that. I'm looking forward to now setting up my 78 season. Now that I got the 78 as played lineup, from Ron Burnium from the Ron Bow site. So I'll be I don't know if I'm going to start streaming that right away, if I want to get a couple games under my belt before I get going with that. I mean, it's just Appa baseball. It's no big deal. So anyway, and Imagine Sport says, for me, it's the anticipation of playing anything. Yes, it is. It is. I anticipate, that it's very, very enjoyable. And yes, happy Easter to everybody. It's coming up on Sunday. So we had ham today. So I got a little taste of my Easter ham. We had to do it first for one of the leagues that I run. So there's a whole bunch of ham left over. So I was like, well, we'll be having ham on Sunday too. And it was good. I had eggs and ham tonight with the big ham that we cooked. It was good. But yeah, so we're going to wrap things up here. Charles, thank you so much for coming by. And thank you, everybody, for coming into the chat and chatting tonight as we get to chat about, just some of the things we enjoy, because it's all about the excitement. It's all about something to look forward to, and that's what we want to do is look forward to playing our games and just enjoy ourselves. And you need to have something to look forward to in life. And if this is it right now, this is it for me. This is where I go. I come downstairs and I hear and I play, whether I stream it or not. Sometimes I just play myself. I just play a game, and that's enjoyment for me, and it really, really is. Let's see. Joseph C stops by. What hockey has a 72-73 season? Love that Islander expansion team. Such fond memories of that time on Long Island. I actually went to one game in Long Island back in 2000 and was it 9 or 10? I went to a game in Long Island. Went to the Islanders game late in the season game, but it was fun to go. 72-73. That was the first season I bought for Hockey Bones. That when I bought Hockey Bones, no, let me correct myself. When I bought Hockey Bones, I bought a PDF with 70-71. When I got the drive-through cards, so the Hockey Bones cards at drivethroughcards.com, I bought 72-73 because I really didn't have that anywhere else. I have all my favorite seasons and all that. So I said, 72-73, I don't have. So I bought it with Hockey Bones. And then since then, did I get it in? No, I don't have it in Appa yet. Appa has, I don't have it in Appa yet. So I have 72-73 with Hockey Bones. And Charles even says, yeah, Appa and Hockey Bones both do. So, and Fenner just played another game of Shootout. I find it so funny. I was playing Shootout. I was playing Shootout the other night, doing my Cleveland Barons replay. I played game 1. They played the Kings. And so I'm playing the Barons in 77-78, doing the Shootout there. World's Worst Gamer. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for helping out the channel, World's Worst Gamer. And I appreciate the comments too. I like having you guys here chatting away with me, because this is kind of, we talked about the games of therapy. This is kind of therapy for me. When I can come on and chat with people that play these games, and right now we got 30 or 35 people here in the chat room that probably play these games, and we can talk about this. And this is kind of Hi, I'm Dave and I play sports sims. That's kind of what it feels like sometimes. Nothing wrong with that by any means. But I mean, it's just kind of fun that I can come in and we can, as much as I like playing the games, I like talking about them too. And that's why we started Digital to Dice, so we could talk about it and be part of a community and the whole bit. And that's kind of why we do these chats as well, is so we can kind of connect with other like-minded people in the sports community. And I was playing 60-61 in Apper earlier tonight. Chicago beat Montreal 5-2. I have that season, I think. Do I have that season up there? I got a handful of the older seasons. I got 29-30. I think I got the 40-41 where the Bruins won it. I've even played some of those older games. And I think I got 60-61. I think I do. I think I have it in Strat too, and I'm trying to remember. I I I think I bought some Strat on eBay one time, and it was like a combination deal, and 60-61 was in there, and I don't remember. I was like, I'm not a big fan of 60-61, but I think I have it in Strat as well. I don't think Bones has that yet. They just put out 59-60 in Hockey Bones, by the way. And let's see, Ronald says, I'm sorry, Ronald says, I've only played a few Stratomatic hockey games, ran into my first tie game. I could not find any help in the rule book. Well, it all depends on the season you're playing, because some seasons did have ties. Some seasons have ties. And so that's it. I enjoy playing the season without the overtime. I really do. The game ends and that's that. Now, if it's, playoffs and you have to find a winner, I get it. So you'd have to play overtime. I'm trying to think what in the rule book. I think it just continues normally, unless you're playing 3-on-3. If you get a new season and it's 3-on-3 overtime, I can't help you because I don't really play that. I haven't played any new seasons in a while. So, and overtime resumed in 83-84. Yeah, yeah, I think I saw that. But I remember the days of ties, and that was it. And the overtime was fun when they brought it in, but it just kind of sucked because it was like just 5 minutes. It was like a 25-minute third period. Because if you lost, you still got the loss. And it's like, oh man, you work hard for 60 minutes and you go into overtime and you lose. You lose the point. I didn't like that. I just wasn't a big fan of that. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up, folks. I do have to work early in the morning, and then I'm going to anticipate coming home and playing some games when I get home. And so that would be my day tomorrow. And then I don't know what's gonna. We have people coming over on Easter. So if I do something on Easter, it might have to be early in the morning. Although I'm gonna probably have to help out in the kitchen. I try to avoid that because she always has her family come over. Like, you guys go in the kitchen. I'll just kind of hide over here and be out of the way. I don't want to be in the way. So maybe I'll sneak down and play something here as well. But anyway, so hey, thanks for coming by, everybody. As we talked about anticipation tonight, and had some really good comments in the chat room and the whole bit. So again, if you're watching this after the fact, let me know. Do you have anticipation about getting games in the mail, or anticipating a new season or a new release of a PC game? Sometimes Action PC or Strat will come out with a new release and they get something really cool in there. You're like, oh man, that's going to be awesome, to have in the game. So I'm anticipating that. Or do you anticipate the games you're going to play? We talked about researching the projects and going back and researching seasons and preparing for projects, how that can be kind of fun. And that's anticipation. We talked about anticipating sales. you know we want to anticipate. I like a sales coming up, can't wait what it's going to be. Well, how much money can I save if I get stuff. So anyway, so anyway, thank you so much, guys. So, all right, well, we'll talk to you all later. We'll probably talk to you at some point tomorrow night. If I don't talk to you, have a great Easter. Bye bye.